Another Spectro damage dealer. Wow. I mean, Pheobe has some pretty tough competition considering Jinhsi has been dominating this game since her release and is yet to be power crept until now? Question mark? Well, let's dive into Phoebe's best rectifiers, echoes, Teamcomps to see how she compares. But first, materials. In order to level 90 her plus max out her skills, this is everything you'll need. It's all pre-farmable. Now, like I mentioned, she's a rectifier damage dealer, so she actually has a lot of options. But of course, her signature, Luminous Heim, will perform best with its numerous buffs, but not by much. It's only about a 5% increase over String Master, her second best option. Rhyme Drape Sprouts performs about the same as String Master, but if you didn't pull for any of these limited weapons, then the standard 5-star, Cosmic Ripples, is her fourth strongest option. Then some last resort or fully free-to-play options can be Ocean's Gift. This is a new event weapon that we'll be getting alongside with her banner, and everyone can get this for free. It's just from completing the event. It performs practically the same as Cosmic Ripples. It's her best free-to-play weapon, and most people should use it. Anything else is sort of pointless since Ocean's Gift is completely free, but if you want, I guess Augment, Jinhsi Keeper, and Accretion are all usable. Also, side note, Phoebe's signature does have some support mechanics and kind of allows her to play as a sort of second DPS role, so there's more value there. But let's move on to echoes. Of course, the only set she should use is Eternal Radiance. It's a part of how her entire kit works. Unless you want her in that sub DPS, second DPS role and put Moonlit on her, but it's not ideal. Also, the only 4-cost echo for this set is the Nightmare Morning Aches, which should be her active echo for the buffs. Now, with an echo cost spread of 4-3-3-1-1, the main stats Phoebe wants is crit rate or damage, try and aim for a 1-to-2 ratio like normal, double Spectro damage, and double attack percent, as she's an attack scaler. Her substat priority in order of importance is crit rate and damage, attack percent, basic attack damage bonus, and heavy attack damage bonus. And I guess some rolls of energy regen doesn't hurt, but to be honest, her liberation cost is pretty low. She shouldn't need too much ER. So, team comps. Phoebe is a main DPS most of the time, so she wants a buffer and supporter. Now, let's first look at her supporter options because it's more simple. Shorekeeper is best, Farina is second, Baiji and Yohu are okay, but not great. And Spectro Rover is solid if you're using another sub DPS. But more importantly, let's discuss her buffer options. So we have the choices of buffing Spectro damage, basic damage, or heavy damage, with Sanhua being her best basic attack buffer, providing the largest basic buff in the game. Rocha also provides a strong basic buff. Mortefi provides the only heavy damage buff in the game, so he has plenty of value with Phoebe. And unfortunately, there's no Spectro buffers as of yet, but Spectro Rover does have some value with her because they can build Frazzle stacks and get buffed by Phoebe's unique outro. And no, Jinhsi won't work with Phoebe. This outro buff is not worth it. In general, Phoebe, Spectro Rover, and Shorekeeper will be her best comp for now until Spectro gets a dedicated limited buffer, because for some reason we still don't have a Spectro buffer, and building Frazzle stacks is essential, which Spectro Rover unfortunately is the only one who can do that for now, alongside Phoebe's support stance. But if you want the absolute most damage from Phoebe possible, then run her with Spectro Rover on the healing set, Mortefi on Moonlit. This team is incredibly broken. But anyways, let's move on to the final section, sequence nodes. TLDR, none of these are worth pulling, but if you like Phoebe that much, then let's start with this one. When Phoebe uses her forte, her liberation damage multiplier goes from 255% to 480%. And when she skills in her forte, her liberation multiplier increases by 90% and implies max stacks of Spectro Frazzle. So this node is just a damage increase for her DPS form and better support for her Frazzle stack building form. S2, in her forte, outro damage is amplified by 60% if enemies have Spectro Frazzle stacks inflicted. Plus in support stance, her Silent Prayer buff for the active Resonator increases 120% more damage amp for Spectro Frazzled enemies. Plus her heavy applies more stacks. So this node is full support. Not really useful for her damage or any current DPSs really, but definitely good for future ones that utilize more of that Spectro Frazzle mechanic. S3 is just an increased damage multiplier of 123% for her forte heavy attack. S4, when Phoebe basics, she reduces Spectro resistance by 10% for 30 seconds. Again, this is just for support. It also requires her to use at least one basic in her rotations. S5 increases Phoebe's Spectro damage bonus by 12% for 15 seconds when she intros. Not great for an S5 to be honest. And then S6, when she skills, the enemy trapped in the mirror, which spawns in when she skills, becomes immobilized. And when she fortes and skills in her forte stance, that skill triggers an extra heavy attack, which does not consume Divine Voice. It also doesn't count as a heavy attack, which is weird, but to clarify, Divine Voice is her forte bar stacks. Overall, the S6 provides good quality of life and some extra damage. Nothing that completely changes her. Again, Phoebe's incredibly strong at her base. Now, for the answer to my question, will Phoebe power creep Jinhsi? Well, yes, sort of, because while she does do a little bit more damage on average for her rotations compared to Jinhsi, she has a massive nuke, liberation, and her on-field damage is pretty solid. She also has so much more supporting capabilities. She's just more universal. Still though, Jinhsi is broken, but word is Phoebe and Zani work really well together, so of course, I have to pull her.